Hey there, top drivers. Welcome to a brand new video on racing. Today I want to talk about something that hits home for a lot of racers just starting out on iRacing, working their way up from the rookie license. How to nail the perfect race to rack up as many safety rating points as possible. See, it happens all the time in my coaching sessions. Drivers come up to me and ask, how can I boost my rating quickly so I can move up through the licenses? I hear things like, I feel fast, but I keep getting caught up in some incident. Or maybe they tell me they don't have a lot of time to practice and know they're not exactly front runners. And because of that, every time they jump into a race, they're hoping to make the most of those few chances to climb the ladder. But instead, they end up losing points, stuck in rookie, spinning their wheels without making progress. That's why, in this video, I want to give you some solid advice on how to approach these races with the goal of maximizing your safety rating. I've got two different strategies for you. One's geared towards drivers who feel confident, fast, and competitive. The other's for those who might be a bit off the pace, don't have much time to grind, and know they're not fighting at the front, so they'll need a different game plan. For this example, I'm using a rookie race with the Mazda MX-5. These races are short, just 12 minutes long. Let's kick things off with the first approach, the one for a driver who knows they've got pace and wants to fight for it. We'll break down the key moments and how to handle them like a pro. The start is absolutely critical. It's the first point where things can get messy with contacts or crashes. Here, you've got to stay laser focused and do whatever it takes to keep it clean and stay out of trouble. Those first two laps, they're make or break if you want to lock in the best possible safety rating. If you're going with this approach, it's crucial to always start from pole, or at least from the front two rows. That's the only way you'll be able to control the race with this strategy. All right, let's break down the start. Clean, no contact with other drivers, no off tracks. We even managed to pick up a spot. Our approach into turn one, super safe but still quick. We're not wasting any time out there. As you can see, the first lap, and really the first two laps, are that crucial opening phase of the race. It's absolutely key not to take unnecessary risks here. Sure, we want to pass the drivers ahead, but we've also got to keep an eye on our mirrors and defend if we need to. The trick is to push without gambling everything. For example, going for an outside move in a corner? Not the smartest idea. It's tough to pull off, and you've got to be extra careful. Right here, you can see the driver behind us nearly ran into the back of us. A common mistake here? Some drivers hit the brakes way too early because they're scared of being on the outside. But doing that just invites trouble. The guy behind might not expect it and could end up rear-ending you, causing an incident. In this case, we managed to dodge it. The driver behind lost his braking point a bit and just barely tapped us. We got lucky, but remember, don't brake too early in these moments. It'll only backfire. Next, we nail the exit out of the S-curves and start setting up for the overtake. And this move, it's gonna be a big one. It's crucial to be decisive when you go for a pass. If you hesitate, your opponent's gonna sense it, shut the door, and make life difficult. You'll not only lose time, but worse, you risk getting tangled up in a crash. In this case, the overtake was absolutely critical. Why? Because right after, exactly what we wanted to avoid happened. Another driver lost control coming out of the corner and caused a wreck that took out the guys behind him. That's why it's so important to clear slower traffic early and carve out your own space on track. Those first two laps are about earning your comfort zone, getting into that ideal spot where you can settle in, focus on your pace, and avoid getting dragged into chaos. Now we're wrapping up lap one, and lap two is all about closing that gap to the race leader. As we'll see in a sec, we're going to try to catch him and go for the pass without wasting time or showing any hesitation. We've got to stay locked in. No off tracks, no mistakes. Keep pushing while staying clean. It's clear that in those opening laps, when we're pushing, when we're in the heat of battle, there's always going to be a bit of risk involved. It's totally normal to pick up 1 or 2 incident points here and there. And honestly, that's not what's going to hurt your safety rating. A couple of incident points won't tank your score. This is an aggressive approach. We know we're fast, we've decided to go for it, and we accept that we might rack up a few incident points along the way. Once again here, we're getting a great exit out of the S-curves. We're locking onto the draft, and we're setting up to attack the driver ahead, this time going around the outside. Even here though, we're always making sure to leave space. We're not squeezing, we're not forcing contact. We're quicker. We don't need to take unnecessary risks. We pull off a clean, definitive overtake, leaving room, keeping it on track, and sealing the move safely. And those little bumps from the driver behind, they're so light they don't even register as incident points. Now as we wrap up lap 2, from lap 3 onward, it's all about laying down our pace and building that gap. Like we said, the goal here is to break free. Sure, mistakes happen. In lap 3, we pick up our first incident point, but that's part of the push. We're still gapping the pack. Once we've built that cushion and settled into our comfort zone, it's time to dial back the risk. We keep the pace up, but shift our focus to staying clean, staying locked in, and avoiding mistakes so we can bring the race home and snag the best possible safety rating score. Remember, the opening phase, the start, and those first 2 laps are absolutely critical. We've got to stay out of trouble, go in with an aggressive mindset to grab the positions we need, but also not get sucked into long, messy battles. The more time we spend duking it out with other drivers, the higher the chance of mistakes or getting caught up in someone else's crash. And here's something important. When you're battling someone, always leave space and try to read who you're up against. If your rival's aggressive and doesn't give room, you'll need to manage that situation differently than if you're up against someone cleaner, more respectful, who's willing to give you a bit of breathing room. You might be able to take a few more chances with a driver like that. Now, as you can see, we're in the middle phase of the race. We're holding a steady pace, staying laser focused to avoid off tracks, aiming to get to those last 2 or 3 laps, the final stretch of the race. And that's when, sometimes, focus starts to slip. Mistakes creep in. It's crucial to stay sharp right up until the end, because in a 12-minute sprint, you've got no room for distractions. You've got to stay on it until the checkered flag, keep it clean, avoid any off tracks or driving mistakes that could bump up your incident points, and keep you from maximizing your safety rating. And just like that, we bring it home with a win and just 1 incident point, still plenty enough to score a big boost to our safety rating. Now let's talk about a different approach, tailored for drivers who feel a bit slower, don't have much practice time, and want to make the most of the few races they've got to boost their safety rating without risking it all and staying stuck in rookie. In this case, the strategy starts even before the race, with qualifying. You can actually choose to start from the back of the grid, or even skip qualifying completely and start from pit lane. This gives you a way safer entry into the race, because you'll have more space around you and you won't be caught up in the chaos of the first lap or the inevitable pileups ahead. This is also a legit way to optimize your safety rating at the end of the race. Let's take a closer look at Gabriel, driving car number 10, and see how he tackled the race. He started from second to last on the grid in the very same race we won earlier, and we're going to break down his approach. Right in front of him, car number 7, Christoph. Let's see how both of them managed their race starting from the back. By the end, they'd climb up to 4th and 5th place, scoring solid gains in both safety rating and iRating. Let's check out the start. Right off the bat, you can see Gabriel being super cautious into turn 1. Starting near the back, he spots a car diving hard on the inside. His choice? He stays wide, lifts off, gives the other driver room, then switches back to cut underneath. You can already tell his driving's a bit tentative, probably not much seat time, maybe still new to racing. But it's a smart call. He's deliberately playing it safe right from the get-go. Out wide, he's not taking any risks. He knows the tires are cold, lets the chaos up front play out, and keeps it clean. And guess what? It pays off. Right here, we see the first crash. A driver hits the wall, and Gabriel immediately picks up a position without lifting a finger. And that's just the start. A few corners later, he gains 2 more spots thanks to that earlier incident. So by the end of lap 1, 3 positions gained, no off tracks, 0 incident points. Honestly, a stellar opening lap. A textbook example of how to handle the start conservatively, but effectively. Now let's switch to Christoph, car number 7. Similar story. A driver tries a lunge up the inside, but Christoph gives him space. Runs wide, avoids contact. Look how cautious he is. He's not risking anything. And again, this pays off later, because as the race unfolds, mistakes start piling up ahead. Here's an example. This contact right here is exactly the kind of scenario we want to avoid with this approach. See that driver making a super aggressive dive bomb on the inside? If your goal is to boost your safety rating, you steer clear of moves like that. They're risky, they rack up incident points, and they're a surefire way to throw away valuable progress. Meanwhile, Gabriel capitalizes on the fallout, snagging 2 more spots thanks to the chaos. That wraps up the opening phase, the first 2 laps, with 5 positions gained, 0 incident points. And that's exactly what we're aiming for in this phase. Finding your spot on track, settling into a safe position without taking unnecessary risks, so you can focus on running your pace. Watch this moment. Gabriel lifts off the throttle to avoid touching the grass and making contact when the car ahead pinches in slightly. Super safe behavior and exactly the right mindset if you're trying to maximize your safety rating. Now we're into the middle phase of the race. Gabriel's locked into his rhythm. He's figured out this is the battle he's in for the long haul. The goal here? Pressure the driver ahead into making a mistake without risking a reckless attack. And right here, Gabriel nails it. He pushes the driver ahead into an error in the previous corner, then pounces immediately. It's a tricky spot to make a move, but he executes it perfectly. He's on the inside. He's got the line, it's clean, it's controlled. Now he's secured the position safely and can keep turning laps at his pace, staying focused, avoiding needless incident points that could chip away at his safety rating gains. But then, here's that lapse in concentration we talked about. Classic mid-race slip-up. Gabriel had just pulled off a great pass, probably let his guard down for a second, and bam, a small mistake costs him an incident point and 2 lost positions. Now he's got to work his way back again. And this is exactly what we want to avoid in the middle phase. Those tiny lapses that undo all the clean work we've put in. Just a moment's hesitation, a slight dip in focus, and it can all unravel. Here again, you can see that little bit of hesitation. He was caught out, lost a bit of focus in this part of the race. Now he's starting to drift wide. And right here, when something like this happens, the key is to immediately refocus. Dial back in, get back into your rhythm, and stop the mistakes before they snowball. Gabriel manages to snag back those 2 lost positions in one move because the 2 drivers ahead tangle. Let's take a closer look at that contact. This right here is a textbook mid-race incident. The driver on the inside kind of just assumes he's cleared the car on the outside, starts drifting out, and boom, it happens. This is super common. If you ever find yourself on the outside in a situation like this, the smartest thing you can do is realize the driver inside is coming out toward you, let them go, and look for a switchback to avoid getting tagged or pushed off. Otherwise, you're looking at 2 incident points plus an off track. We're closing in on the final phase of the race now. Gabriel's up ahead. And remember Christoph, car number 7 we talked about earlier? That's him just in front now. He's been having a super consistent, clean race so far. No big battles, steady laps, no mistakes. But now let's see what happens, because even he makes a lapse right at the end, on the last lap. Here it is. Christoph runs onto the grass on corner entry, loses the car, and Gabriel slides past him. Not only that, Christoph also drops behind 2 more drivers who were chasing him. He does manage to claw back one of those spots at the last corner. You can see the first car get by, But at the final turn, Christoph pulls off a smart move, cuts back inside, forces the driver wide, and snatches back 5th place in a drag race to the line. But it's a perfect example. One moment of lost focus can undo everything you built through a clean, disciplined race. He had the pace. There was no need to push that hard into the grass. He just needed to stay locked in till the checkered flag. Let's sum it up. Beyond the two different strategies, the aggressive approach for drivers who feel fast, starting from the front rows and aiming to break away, and the more cautious approach starting from the back or even pit lane. The real takeaway in these short races, 12 minutes, 8 laps in this case, is staying focused from start to finish and avoiding contact. You've also got to read the race. Know when it makes sense to take a risk and when it's smarter to play it safe. We've broken the race down into 3 phases. The opening phase, the start, and the first 2 laps, where the risk is highest. Turn 1 is always a danger zone. There's lots of contact, and those first 2 laps are about finding your spot. The middle phase, where you've settled into your position, need to lock in your rhythm and stay focused to avoid small mistakes, like an off-track or a spin. We saw how relaxing a little too much, clipping the grass, or losing the car can easily cost 2 incident points. And the final phase, the last few laps, where you can't let your guard down. You've got to stay sharp to make it to the flag cleanly. If you're still in a fight and haven't managed to pressure your rival into a mistake earlier, this is the time to go for it. It's the moment to launch your move, because focus might drop, fatigue sets in, especially for less experienced drivers. And remember, if your goal is safety rating, sometimes you've got to be okay with settling for position. You don't need to win. You come home second, no mistakes, no incidents, no contact. You're still banking a solid safety rating gain. That's how you climb faster. Hope you found this video helpful and enjoyed it. Drop us a comment, smash that like button, and I'll catch you in the next iRacing video. See you on track, top drivers. Go.